I'm still nervous.
Right.
Right. And it's like, but I'm the one willing to do it.
Well, and that's what I think the definition of bravery is, right? It's not a lack of fear. It's that you do things despite fear. We're going to write a book, and this is how it's going to start.
There's usually drinking involved in that too.
You just got to keep going.
What is this all for? Looking back, what's the point of it all? What is the point of it all? Mike, thank you so much for joining me today.
I'm excited to be here.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about you. What's your backstory?
Backstory. How far do you want me to go?
All the way. Where were you born?
I'm 46. I got a lot to tell.
Yeah, well, start at the beginning. Where else do you begin other than the beginning?
Back in November 1st, 1979 is when it all started.
Yeah. I started a little bit before that for your parents, but we won't get into all that.
Hey, I don't want anyone to mental.
Yeah, like, whoa, I can't unsee that.
Stop. No, I'm from Waterbury, Connecticut, AKA they call it dirty water, not because the water's dirty. So you kind of get the idea. And we're kind of talking about hometowns.
Yeah, sounds like a special hometown.
Yeah, it was funny because I was, talking to a friend, and the last 3 decades of mayors all went to jail.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So it's like, is that type of place, right? So you grew up in Waterbury trying to figure out what you're going to do. Your parents, my dad was a truck driver, mom's a waitress, partied on the weekends. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to party on the weekends, right? So my babysitters.
Nobody ever leaves.
No one ever leaves. Yeah, it's which nowadays people leave.
Do they?
Well, everyone travels now.
Really?
Family's not together
in dirty
anymore.
water, Connecticut?
Well, I don't go back that much.
You're like, I don't actually know what they're doing.
But yeah, no, anyways, but there, it was I remember maybe 10 years old, 11 years old. It's not my grandfather, my uncle was a foreman at an apartment complex. And he would take me to work on the weekends or when school was off or whatever it was. And he would just give me my vitamins, Mike. And I'm like, all right. It was Budweiser. I'd go grab a can of Budweiser, and he'd be chopping down a tree with a chainsaw, drinking beer. And I was like, I think that's where you thought you were going to be.
Yeah.
Right. It was just
I think you had about a 90% chance that was where you were going to be.
Oh, 100%.
So how'd you break out of that pattern?
Well, I didn't break out of it, so to speak. So it's kind of like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He went to California. His parents sent him away. But I had a family here in Phoenix, Arizona. It was my dad's sister, and they invited us to come out. My sister, myself, were just up to no good. Right. So we got to get these kids out of here. I dropped out of high school. I think I dropped out when I was a sophomore. I was just on my own all the time.
Looking for trouble.
Yeah. I remember going to New York City when I was 13 years old, telling my parents I was going to sleep over at someone's house. So that just kind of gives you an idea.
You could have seen me there because I was about 14 the first time I snuck into New York City from New Jersey where I was living at the time. So
yeah. So if they didn't pull us out of Connecticut to go to Phoenix, then when you came to Phoenix, this was 97. It was like Saved by the Bell, right? For those that remember that, right? It's
really different world.
2 different worlds, right? So it's wow, this is pretty cool, right? So but you're still an outcast. You dress different, you talk different, you look different. And so it was a weird adaptation, but I got used to it, but I started to like it. And what I noticed.
Did you go back to school?
Yes, I went back to school and I dropped out again. Yeah. Because you ultimately just start attracting the same people.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, your patterns.
You're like, who knows how to do this? And you're looking for it. But I noticed now I could realize it. I was like, oh, they took me here to get away. And here I am getting back.
Right.
But you're young. You don't care. You're having fun. So you kind of keep doing it. But what really, really made the change for myself was, those seminars whenever they're selling something at the airport, right? So it was a get rich, push button, make money from home kind of thing. Whatever. I don't know. I want to get rich. That's all I know. I'm 19. Yep. I want to be rich. So go to the seminar. And
I've been to some of those seminars, by the way.
Yeah. I go now to watch them speak because I like watching people speak. But anyways, so I'm watching the guy and he's like, buy this program, change your life, push button system. It was a $17,000 computer. Right. So I'm like, okay, I don't have $17,000. And everybody's pull out your credit card. It's one of those
I've been to one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so disappointed. Yeah. We're going to teach you how to make your limit higher on your credit card.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pull out your credit card. We'll
I
make
told
the
you.
limit
I've been
higher.
to those. Yeah.
Swipe it, buy the $17,000 computer. And there people are rushing to the back of the room. You think you're doing something wrong. You're all confused. Mm-hmm. And then what he did do, which I'll always be thankful for, is he pulled out a book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
I love that book.
He
gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
That'll
right.
change your life for sure.
Raised it up and he goes, hey, if you don't buy this program, at least go do this for yourself.
Okay, good.
I
So
went-
he did have a soul.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, good point. So I ran off to the half price bookstore on Tatum and Cactus, bought it for like $3 or whatever it was, and I just got obsessed and I read every word in it every single day. And I took a picture of a BMW. I scotch taped it on top of my Toyota Corolla steering wheel, and everyone would laugh at me every single day when they're in my
You
car.
were manifesting. That
Oh,
was your vision board.
100%. It was really,
You didn't
really
know
for
it,
sure.
but yeah.
And then I could keep talking, but your podcast, so I'll keep going. But like that's how it all started, right? So
That's awesome.
that was it. So that book really showed me. I remember going, because when I would go to New York, there would be what's called street teams. So all these kids we wear and all this gear, swag, giving away T-shirts for new upcoming records coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd always be like, I want to do that. Connecticut doesn't have nothing like that. But when I came to Phoenix, they had it. So I was at an Outkast concert at Club Rio, if you remember Club Rio down in Tempe, and Outkast was there. I saw a street team. So I went up to the guy running the joint and I was just like, how do I do this? And he was like, meet me here. Da, da, da. You ain't going to get paid. So I just showed up and I built the largest street team in Phoenix.
Awesome.
Just while I was reading that book, doing this, and you could ultimately just quickly see your life changing, the people around you changing.
Wow.
I remember driving up the 51 freeway and I just started hitting the steering wheel. I was like, everything I do happens.
Yes,
right?
my life is changing.
Yeah.
You felt it shift.
Big time. So that was what did it.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
So is that the only motivational book you read, or did you go on to read some more?
Oh, I probably read well over 1,000 books. I've read
was-
everything out
I
there.
was wondering.
Yeah.
The one that started for me was Rich Dad Poor Dad. That was the first one. But then I
Yeah.
went on and read them all too.
That was the next one. That's like the powerful duo. So if you're
Yes,
listening to
right.
this, go get Think and Grow Rich and Rich Dad Poor Dad. That will just build your foundation in life for financial and your mindset. And if as long as you apply it and check yourself, you'll be good.
So you never went back to school?
I
You went to your own school. You started reading a lot of books.
yeah, I did for sure self taught, but I did try to go to Paradise Valley Community College for one class.
Didn't
I
it
dropped
just-
out of that
it just
too.
is not working
I was
for
like,
you.
I'm trying to do what everyone else does, and it just keeps firing.
Yeah, but you don't strike me as the kind of guy that fits in a mold.
Yeah, no,
No.
I don't think so.
Okay, so you did the street team thing. Then what?
Yeah. Street team. So what led to that? So when you start running street teams, you start attracting local bands. So what happened is there's a local group in the hip hop group, and they were pretty good. So I was like, hey, I can get you a show. So I got them on Raekwon and Ghostface Killer from Wu-Tang. I got them their first show, and then it was like, boom, we hit it off. So I started getting them more gigs because I knew all the concert promoters and I knew all the radio stations. So now you got this good group, and you're bringing these people trying to get now you're trying to get a record deal that
Right,
world, right?
yeah.
And that was your
Sounds fun.
your goal in life. So went down that road. Man, that was a good one. But it didn't happen.
How long did you stay in that whole
I was probably throwing
business?
so what happens is like new bands. So you start doing band management, then you start working for more record labels, and then you start getting more opportunities. Then you start throwing your own concerts. So probably a good almost 8-9 years.
Wow.
I did it locally in Phoenix, but then I met my wife. We had our son, and then it was like, okay, I'm out to 3-4 in the
I
morning.
better grow up.
Yeah, I was like,
Responsibility will change things.
very much so. And deep down, you're like, you just know this isn't how I want to be with my family.
Really fun way to live when you're young, but not sustainable forever.
Nope. Yeah, realized that really quickly. So I went to got a job at Verizon Wireless.
Oh no.
Did you ever go over your minutes?
Oh, I think I definitely went over my minutes at some point in my
Well, you
life.
probably talked to me at some point.
Oh my gosh. But to go from all that celebrity and fame and rock style life to telling people they're over their minutes at Verizon, you must have felt suffocated. That's like going to school.
yeah.
You had to be trapped again.
I was pretty good. I was good, but yeah, it was. You ever have that feeling deep down in your gut when you're just like,
This is not my life.
I'm better than this.
You
I
are
don't
better than
belong here.
this. Yeah.
And I did everything properly. I was trying to, working 50 hours, getting paid for 40, working up to middle management,
Oh,
kissing
yeah.
butt, all that stuff.
And at some point, you're like, no matter how hard I work at this is never going anywhere.
Yeah, man. But here's what I'll say. I always, even when you think you know everything, I always pull something from wherever I go. One of the supervisors was a psychologist, I guess, or something. So it was very inspirational. So it really got me into understanding human behavior and just NLP and just psychology. And
What did he teach you?
he didn't teach me much besides he was very patient, and that he can, like, everyone always liked him and always wanted to talk to him. I always
Okay.
felt good around him. So I don't want to say nothing. So and that's curious. It makes you curious because as business owners, you want to build relationships.
Right.
You want to grow and, and connect. So that set me off on some type of pattern. But I remember a gentleman, we're at the water cooler and waiting for a training class. And he was like, hey, houses are like 10 grand. This is like '09. He's like, houses are like 10 grand, 20 grand. I'm like, and in my head, I'm like, I remember a distant friend. He was flipping houses, 100 grand, 200 grand, making big money. I'm like, that's weird. So you get
Yep.
curious.
Right.
Which is a very,
Well, and you're reading all those books which keep on talking about real estate investing. That was for me too. You read those books and they just keep talking about how you can, I don't know, go out and be a wholesaler or find deals and sell them to people. And I can remember thinking, how am I supposed to meet somebody to sell these deals to? But I could just see that your wheels were, you were looking for a real estate opportunity.
yeah, no, you were. I was. And so my wife and I were always watching HGTV as well. So it's like, oh, this guy's making 80 grand a hit. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
right.
I started getting curious. I was searching it and I'm like, okay, I have no money, no credit, no skill. I work 50, 60 hours a week. How do you buy a house, fix it up and flip it and make thousands of dollars? Right.
Right.
It's too far out
It
of
feels
reach.
like a big leap.
Very big leap. Then then I'm looking at a landlord. Okay, you rent it out for $1,000 after your mortgage. I can't even get a mortgage, right? Like,
Yeah, right.
I can't even fix the house up. Like, then you make $100 a month. I didn't understand
Why would I
wealth.
do that? Right.
Yeah, it didn't
Right.
make sense. Real estate agent. Okay, I got mortgage, car, whatever. How many? I got a commission based. Didn't want to go down that route.
Right.
Then I saw, you said it. I saw wholesaling. No money, no credit, 5K in 30 days.
There you go.
I was like, boom, that's me. And I just got, once again, Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
Just
So
obsessed.
what was your first wholesale deal?
First wholesale deal was 69th Avenue and Indian School and Cypress Gardens in West Phoenix, Maryville. And I put those little...
We used to go to those neighborhoods like
Yeah.
in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
If it was after 5 p.m., it could be a little sketchy. First thing in the morning, sometimes people were still coming home drunk. We'd go at like 10 to noon. Everybody was asleep.
Yeah, it was. I was there all times. It was always unique, a good experience. Always entertaining. That was it. But you remember those little signs? I pay cash for houses.
Yeah,
little
I
mini
printed a
billboards?
lot of those in
Yeah,
my day
so
too.
yeah, so
Yep.
did that. Gentleman called and he was like, "Hey, my mother's ill and I need to get to." I'm not making this up, Kentucky. And I swear, in 2 weeks, and I need to help her, right? And I was like, okay, what do you want for the property? He's like, 12K. And I was like, I'm so new. I didn't know how to comp properties. I didn't know how to estimate repairs. He just said he wanted 12. I said yes. And remember, the context though. We're in the Great Recession.
Right.
Thousands and thousands of houses. You can go to the auction, buy a cookie cutter 2,000 built house with a red tile roof for 40 grand.
Right.
No one wants to go in the hood in a condo.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was.
You can give condos away.
Yeah,
I mean, for
exactly.
free, people wouldn't take a condo. Not in those days.
That was it. Yeah. So now but I know nothing. I
Right.
just say yes.
So you get it locked under contract for 12 grand.
12K. So I'm like, okay, how do I sell this thing? So I put more signs out that say cheap house, whatever.
Yeah, right.
No one's biting. Then I'm getting curious again. I'm on YouTube and there's another like guru type educator on YouTube. And she was like, why don't you just write a letter to everyone in the complex and see if they want to buy another one? Right? I was
Hey, that's good thinking.
It's like, duh, okay. But at that time, 2009, no chat GPT, you got to go on maricopa.gov,
And look them up.
look them up. I hand wrote and printed out or whatever and researched 200 units and wrote them all letter. And then my phone started ringing.
Amazing.
Right. And there was this lady, she goes, did Jim O'Connell call you yet? And I was like, who's this? Whoa, what's going on? She's like, I'm calling about your condo. She's like, if Jim calls, don't answer. We're having a race. We're both on the HOA and we want to see who could buy the most condos here.
Oh,
And I was like,
nice.
whatever. Do you want to buy the condo? Let's go. So we met at the house. And so it's me. This is a learning lesson for you wholesalers, if you're out there. At the seller, me and the HOA buyer. I told her 17,000. So now here we are. She goes, okay, Mike, I want it. You only want 17. What's the first thing as a business owner?
I meant 20?
Yeah, right. So I was like, shoot, all right, cool, fine, whatever. And then it's her on my right, the seller on the left. Then the seller goes, Mike, You're only giving me 12.
Uh-oh.
I was like, ah, that's how it is.
So you're like, I gotta
know.
make something. I'm standing in the middle of you two.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, man. This
I
is
wrote a
how it
lot of
goes.
letters.
Yeah. I mean, but here's what I want to get across is the deal still happened.
Right.
Why did it happen?
Because you tried. You kept working on it. You wanted it.
And I'll tell everyone listening that says, hey, real estate investors, you're taking grandma's house or your equity skimmers or this agenda that's pushed out there. No, we deal with people that don't want their house.
Right.
They need to leave.
Yeah, you clearly helped that guy. He didn't want to write all those letters. He didn't want to go hunt down a buyer. You did him a favor. That costs money.
100%.
Favors cost money in business.
Where I like to say, like, when you're sifting for gold in the river, like, you're looking for that little golden nugget. If someone wants a top dollar for the house, they fully deserve it. They can call an agent. They can go and get it.
They can do all the work. Sure.
Yep. If they want quick cash and they want the convenience, they can call real estate investors.
Right.
So the deal went through and I made $5K. Why did I make $5K?
Because you did the legwork.
$5K, no money, no credit, and 30 days or less. That's exactly how I priced my deal. So that was the level of experience I had, and I still was able to get it done.
Amazing. And now you've got the confidence to go do it again.
Yeah. Yep. And it gets even better.
So how long were you wholesaling before you moved into something else?
Oh, I still wholesale. So it's just a skill set you'll never lose. You can always have. I would probably say probably 2 years. So my second deal, though, which was pretty interesting, was in Central Phoenix. I got it under contract at too high of a price, but I was once again trying to sell it. I had it on Craigslist. Remember Craigslist?
I do, yeah.
Website. And then a gentleman called me. And he was like, I was on my checking my voicemail, my 15-minute break at Verizon, and he goes, "Hey, I'm interested in this house. This is who I am." Sounded familiar, and I thought I knew him. So I called him back, and I went to high school, and I came here with him.
Yeah.
And
Small world.
It's very small. And the crazy part about it was when I recognized it was him, got him on the phone. You can't do that catch up thing. Oh, what's up? What's up? And then it's like, what are you doing with this deal? I'm like, I'm trying to wholesale. He's like, hey man, I've been wholesaling for 5 years. He's like, why don't you come down to the office and we'll connect.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was like, I pinch myself every day how these things, if you're in it, taking actions, you're in the game, swinging the bat, these little things.
Yep.
What's the quote? The harder I work, the luckier I get.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That opportunity wouldn't have been there if you wouldn't have been in the trenches.
So long story short, I don't want to bore everybody, but here's what happened. So what we did, he said, bring all your old leads that told you no. And I'm like, okay, buddy, good luck. So what he saw was the invisible. So if I went into your business and you had to train me in your position to take over, you're going to know every problem I'm going to face, every situation, ups and downs, how long it's going to take me to understand everything. So that's what we can see as experienced business owners and investors with new people.
Right.
So he knew I comped it wrong, estimated wrong, negotiated wrong, build rapport wrong, you name it. He turned in 4 months, he turned them into 4 deals, and I had 25 grand in my bank account.
Wow, amazing.
So here I am at Verizon Wireless.
Go, maybe I can give up this job soon.
I'm like, yeah, right. So ultimately, I went part-time at that point. I quit my job within the year. Within a year, I quit my job December 12th, 2010. And then I did 30 deals my first year in the business.
Awesome.
It's all because of a mentor, a coach. I got educated. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's, if you want to beat the learning curve in any business that you're in, whether you got to pay someone, bring value to them, bring a deal to them, bring an opportunity to them, and learn while you bring them opportunities, whatever you could do.
Well, and don't you find, especially now that you're an experienced guy in the industry, I can remember in some of those books that we've read in common that they always talked about finding a coach, and I always thought these people don't want to waste their time coaching me, but once you're in that seat with that experience, don't you find that you like to coach people that are coming up? And so it feels really intimidating and scary when you're young and new and fresh and you have all that energy. But if you're willing to put in the work and try, and you've got all that, and that experienced person sees themselves in you, coaches are usually pretty willing. Not only willing, but they have fun coaching you a lot of the time.
All the time, because there's no one that, when I hear self-made, okay, yeah, you worked hard, you taught yourself, but someone pulled you up.
Nobody's in a bubble.
Someone gave you a little shot. There's a gentleman, I bought a house in Central and Camelback for $5,000 in 2012.
Wow.
And think about it, right? Pearson Historic District. And the gentleman, I sold it to, just wanted to wholesale it. I was like, hey, Dennis, you want to buy this deal? No one wanted the deal. And he was like, hey, I'll buy it from you. He's like, what do you want? I was like, 10K. I had it under contract to 5. So he was like, Mike, do you want to own this house? I was like, I just want my 5K assignment fee. You know what I mean? That's all I knew because I wasn't buying rentals.
Right.
He's like, you're going to own this house. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to fix it up. I'm going to rent it. And you're going to own 25%.
Awesome.
I'm like, do I get my 5K? You know, that was all that was on my
Like,
mind.
no, I'm teaching you something.
Yes. And I owned that property for 8 years.
And then you did learn.
And we sold it for
something from that.
$300,000. You know,
Amazing.
like, so meaning successful people, like you said, if they see something in you, they want to bring
They
you
want
up.
to. They want to teach you. They want to bring you up. That's awesome. This episode is not sponsored, but it is supported by all of our members here at Namaste Yoga in Scottsdale, Arizona. Namaste is a space where the ancient practice of yoga meets an immersive, cinematic, infrared experience that helps warm your body from the inside out while you move, breathe, and reset. We've built an amazing community, and we're so thankful to all of our members for making this all possible. So now what are you up to?
What am I up to now? Well, I'm executive director of the Arizona Real Estate Investors Association, also known as ASRIA. Our job is to educate, provide networking opportunities, market information, and government affairs to real estate investors throughout the state of Arizona. And we've been doing that for 23 years.
Well, and we talked about this off camera, but I think it's fascinating to mention that I went to those meetings for years and years and years before I ever bought my first fix and flip or renovated my first house. And just like you, I read the same books and was trying to figure out, how do I get into this? How do I start this? I'm really hungry, but I'm really broke and I really want to do something, but I don't know where to start. And I went to those meetings for a long, long time. And I always found the speakers to be so motivational. I just thought, man, I can't believe these people tell these amazing stories, and they've done all these amazing things. And that was just such inspiration and really a huge, huge pivotal thing for my career development. So I hope you know how much you're helping people and inspiring people and leading people with that organization. It does great work.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I mean, if you look at any type of, especially in the real estate world, when there's like a lot of information and coaching and online kind of stuff, or infomercial from back in the day, it's it's hard to find someone that sticks around. So like whether it was previously COVID or the crash or whatever it is, we never left. We were, you know what I mean? So like, this is the place, it's credible and you can trust and will never go anywhere.
Well, and something that's really unique, I think here, I only know about it from here, is the Cromford report, right? And it's getting updated every month on what is the status of the real estate market. What are these little micro trends and what's changing and how are things going, is so empowering as a wholesaler or a real estate investor, that when you're out there doing these deals, unlike your first couple of deals, you feel a little bit more empowered because you have a lot of information and knowledge about what's happening in the market and what things are doing. And those are really good tools to have in your toolbox as a real estate investor. It's
huge because, so we always say in our world, I don't have a crystal ball, whatever, right? We don't. No one can predict anything. And I think everyone out there that tried to predict, it's always been wrong. But it's like, but at least you have some strong data that nobody has. Right. Like, I go to the leadership conference nationwide for all the RIAs, over 200 RIAs, and no one has a Cromford report in their area. Right. And you can now, like, if you had information about stocks, it's insider information, you go to jail.
Right.
But like everything we do is like public information, data is tracked, and we take all this information and put it into a presentation where you could retain it and understand it and then apply it.
And then you actually do know. I mean, you really do know. I can remember having that argument with both my dad about a house I wanted to invest in, or with my business partners at the time about properties we were looking at. And they would say, you don't know. Like you said, you don't have a crystal ball. I'm like, I do though. I do know. I feel really empowered that Cromford report is there. And if you go to those monthly meetings, there's a lot of really smart people figuring stuff out. You don't have to think so hard. You just let them tell you what's going on, and they're right month after month after month. It's a really powerful networking place.
And it's a lot. So if you're like, you're new, you're like, oh my God, 30, 40 minutes of just charts. When I see charts, still to this day, I see a bunch of lines and I'm like, my brain starts getting a little fizzy. But like, as you start to get used to it, I remember, so a fix and flipper, they sell to an end user. Right. A family that wants to live by the park, buy their forever home. Right. They go to Bank of America, they get a loan. Right. So fix and flipper needs to watch them.
Yes.
and what their habits are and where they're buying
know what they want.
and what they want, right? So as a wholesaler, I would watch the flipper.
Right.
Right.
That's your customer. You got to know what they want.
So I remember when there was a point when houses were becoming unaffordable for the end buyer. So fix and flippers moved. The data show they moved to condos and townhouses because they're slightly more less expensive. And I went next morning, shifted all my marketing to condos.
Guess what I'm wholesaling?
Yep, I made $40K in 3 months just on signing deals.
Right.
You know,
right.
So
I remember that feeling of advanced knowledge, and you could take that out into the world and tell other people, and they go, "Wow, how did you know that?" I'm like, "ASRIA. I go to ASRIA meetings. That's it. That's all you got to do is show up there."
like we talk about the path of progress. So if you don't know what that is, like one mentor always told me, follow the sewer lines. Right.
There you go,
Just follow them. It's public information, right? So can you go out like right now with all the data centers and all the warehouses, Amazon and Home Depot, everything's going west. Southeast Valley blew up. Everything's going west. Bill Gates is literally going to have his first house, I think, in that the city he's building. It's going to be the size of Pittsburgh.
Wow.
And they're about to launch their first community. So
there's nothing you could do that would be wrong in that vicinity.
And that's all we talk about.
Right.
So it's like you come in, you hear that type of stuff, you're hearing it now.
And then
Yeah, would it make sense to go buy some land out west?
I would say, yeah.
I think they're even talking about the 404. We just got the 303.
Yeah, right.
So get in the game.
And that's the thing, knowing your market. So what if you don't live in Arizona and you don't have the Cromford Report? What do the other RIAs do? Where do they get their information? Or they just don't know?
I think it's just like MLS, local data. MLS provides the most data.
Wow,
obviously.
we're pretty spoiled here then.
Very spoiled.
That's a big difference because just studying the MLS and getting the Cromford Report are two very different things.
Yeah, we got members all over the country that, they own houses in Arizona. So we do stream our monthly events. So if you can't make it, or sometimes, hey, you get out of work or something at 6 o'clock to drive, you're in Goodyear to drive across the Scottsdale. I know it takes some time, but we do stream it as well. So
awesome. Good to know. Okay.
For our members,
and what else are you
members
working-
only.
Okay.
Just kidding.
That nice little plug there.
Yeah, I got it, man. I got to take advantage of this nice setup.
Yeah, you do. What else are you working on?
Well, that's my main thing. And being in ASRIA, I took over as first I've been a member for 15 years, started teaching 8 years ago. And then when the founder wanted to retire, because we also teach, you have to have a plan to get in the game, and you also have to have a plan to get out. Right. So that's what he was executing, the plan that he taught. And he said, Mike, you're the guy. And I'm like, guy for what? You know what I mean? So it was a whole nother world and ball game for me to understand. So in 2021 is when I took over ASRIA. So I didn't know what I was getting into, right? But took a leap of faith and jumped in. And so when you said, what else am I working on? I've learned over the last 4 years, we get so into financial freedom, time freedom, legacy, all this great stuff, which it's still here and we're still doing. But what we lose track of is politics and government, right? Because I work with the Department of Real Estate, Arizona Department of Real Estate. I've built a relationship with them over the last couple of years, and I kind of hear what frustrates them because their job is to protect the consumer. Totally agree, 100%. There's no slumlords at ASRIA. So how do we help? How do we be a part of that? So a lot of things happening right now are like deed fraud, right? And then there's certain strategies you can use in real estate, but there's always a bad apple that does something not cool, right, and exploits the strategy, which helps the homeowner, helps the investor, and everyone moves on. But then you get the criminal,
right,
that comes in, So we deal with
good
that.
point. So you've got to make sure you're watching the policies.
Well, 100%. Like just little things. If we study, we sacrifice, we work hard, we do all these things as entrepreneurs, and then little by little, if you're not paying attention to the legislative, which is going on right now, they're proposing like rent control and what else? Extending evictions, right? Like it's right now you can serve a 5-day notice, and they'll be out within 30 days. And they get us mixed in. So what I'm getting at is they mix the mom and pop landlords. So 70% of landlords in Arizona are mom and pop, 2-3 houses, trying to get my kids through college.
Yeah.
I got a mortgage payment.
That's me. I'm a landlord.
Yeah.
I love my tenant.
So I
hope my tenant loves me.
That's what it really is.
Right.
And so, okay, there was a big, I forgot what the exact stat was, like 80,000 eviction filings. And the media's tearing it up. Landlords, No. Filings don't equal evictions. They don't tell you that less than 10% actually get evicted.
Right.
We want to help them.
Right.
We want them to say it costs $5,000 when they move out, but if they stay,
Yeah, you don't ever want your tenant to move
no,
out.
especially if they're good. Yes,
Yeah.
is there bad situations? Of course. Yes, people get evicted, but the end of the day is then you got corporations and hedge funds coming in. They're the ones building these big communities and putting the wrong people in there, which cause evictions. So we're getting mixed up with the wrong people.
And that's a really
Yeah.
good point. That's what I've seen too. If you're a little mom and pop landlord, you know your tenant, your relationship with your tenant. If you're a huge corporation,
call.
you
Yeah.
just put people in and you don't even screen them. You have no idea who's going into those properties.
My properties, I can go and sit down at the kitchen table and have a cup of coffee with anyone right now.
So how are you going to protect our legislation?
Yes. Alley-oop. So I'm running for Phoenix City Council District 6.
Woohoo,
Yeah, thank you for asking. So that's a big part of it, right? Because just the biggest impact, yes, there's big impact with governor and senators and there's all impacts at some level. But I truly think when I'm learning, when I was asked to participate, I started doing research right before we jump into something, and I'm like, wow, our budget's in a deficit. Wow, they raised sales taxes. Wow, the property taxes went up. Like it's already unaffordable to live.
Right.
And oh wow, all these new parking meters, like it's like, wow, what's going on? Where's the responsibility here?
Yeah, who's in charge?
Yeah, so we I want to be one of the new people in charge.
Awesome. I love it. So you went from dropout to, I don't know, what was that thing with the promoting bands?
Street teams and concert
Street
promotions.
teams. There you go. That's
Good
it.
memory.
And then we're working at the Verizon store.
Yeah.
All the way to leading the best real estate association if not in this country, I would have to assume it's the best in the world.
Oh wow, I never
Don't you
thought
think?
about that.
Is there a better one?
27-time award winning. Yeah, national out of over 200 RIAs. Yeah.
Yeah, best
sure.
in the world.
Yeah, I
Real
like
Estate
that.
Investors Association.
I like that. I'm taking that.
Now you're gonna run wild with our politics, not only in this state, but I'm sure you can go on do better than that. After all these accomplishments and achievements and changes and developments, what's the point of it all?
I'm always trying to figure that out, right? Because you may have heard, what's the guy's name? Simon Sinek, right? What's your why?
Yeah,
I always
yeah.
struggle with that, man. It's like, I don't want to be broke.
Yeah, that's my
It's like,
why.
I don't know what
We're
else
afraid
to
of
do.
poverty.
Like, okay, it's my family.
Yeah, but if you've
Duh.
heard that, then you've also heard like,
Yeah.
okay, you want all the money, but what are you going to do with the money? I'm going to buy a house. What are you going to do in the house, right? You're supposed to peel back the layers till you get all the way down to the why.
When you get into real estate, you get a good opportunity to design your life and kind of live on your terms, and you get to have to experience some of that fun, right? And but after that, it's kind of like, what else, right? Like my son, he's at 19, as we were saying, I'm an empty nester, right? Like so it's like, what do you do now, right? It's like, go chase, of course we want to make money. It's fun doing it.
Yep.
Right. We love doing it. So what's the,
But at a certain point, there was another one I'm going to butcher, but about the hierarchy of needs, right? You need food, you need water, you
Yeah,
need shelter.
Maslow.
But once you've covered all the basics, you get into those deeper layers, you're not worried about paying your rent anymore. So now what?
well,
What's the purpose? If you get, 80 years on this planet, what are you hoping to leave behind?
I like helping people. Right. And that's one of the core parts of ASRIA. I learned, I was like, oh, let's blow this thing up. Let's make millions of dollars. Yes, of course, that's always there. But it's like, what for? Right. Like, I love the fact that we help people reach their retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always worry about helping someone else more than I'm helping myself. Right.
Right.
And I know people, there's that theory, the airplane mass drops, take care of yourself. I get all that. But like, for whatever it is in me, I want to make sure you hit your goal when you come to ASRIA, or quit your job, or if you got a flat tire, I'll help you fix your flat tire. 'Cause a lot of kids now don't even know how to do that. So
Yeah, you're going to have to help them.
Yeah, right. I guess I'm gonna be busy now after this
Yeah,
podcast.
right.
But
Don't put your cell phone number out the end of this
Yeah,
thing. People are going to be asking you to fix their tires.
But that truly is what it is. So it's like helping people, right? So then, okay, I'm doing that with ASRIA. I'm helping people, and it's still passionate. And I love doing it, and it's working now. So now now it's like, okay, we're cool. We did pretty well. And now I'm looking at when I got invited to to be a part of, run for Phoenix City Council. I'm like, wow, this is even bigger.
You can help even more people.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, wow, I could, fix the potholes so they have a better, smoother drive to work, or make sure the trash gets picked up.
I remember that when I have a nice smooth drive to work and be like, thanks, Mike.
Because they are getting a little bumpy out there, just saying, so we gotta fix it.
A little different than 1997 when you moved here.
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
it was real smooth then.
If you're, older and you're listening to this, back in the 90s, Phoenix was the best run city in the world, and there were signs everywhere you went.
Yep.
We don't have those anymore.
I moved here in 2000 from New York City, New Jersey area, and I moved here with my ex-husband, and we were like, look at these roads. They're like 8 lanes wide, and there's beautiful freeways side, and there's no traffic, and people are just cruising. And now it's like, oh wait, this is like the East Coast. Yeah. It's all gridlocked.
It's changing, right? We were growing. We were growing pains, right? But we could still stay on top of that. We could still do better. I just want to keep doing better, keep helping more. So I feel with the skill set as building companies, selling companies, running an organization, I could take that that skill into City Hall and serve even more and impact more people. Rather than impacting a couple thousand people, I can impact hundreds of thousands of people.
And it's been a really common thread between a lot of people that I've interviewed on this podcast that's the case. I think it's really important to recognize maybe it could be valuable for people to learn that earlier in their career. You got to get fed money when and let's face it, a lot of us, we really want to be rich.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I want a whole lot of money. I want a big old house. Maybe I want a jet or live on the beach or whatever all those things are. But there is a layer under that, and it's almost always helping people. It's always, what am I going to give back? How am I going to coach the next generation? And that comes back to what we talked about finding a mentor. Like it's a lot easier. You think it's going to be so weird when you reach out to somebody you admire, like they're not going to want to help me. But they do want to, because they get to a phase in their life where they're looking to mentor, they're looking to help people, they're looking to lift them up. And like you said, the more people we can help at once, and, that's why I do this podcast. How many people can we help at once? If helping 1 or 2 people feels good, and then you can help 20 people, that feels better. You start to kind of get the bug. How many lives can I impact? How many people can I change?
When you say that, so like 2 years ago, I was on YouTube, and there's a book written by Jack Canfield, Success Principles. He wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul, right? Yep. And I mean, when the first page you literally open, it says, take 100% responsibility for your life.
Yes.
And I'm like,
amen.
Whoa.
Yeah.
When I first read it, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. It's deep.
It is.
But anyways.
That pretty much sums up all things.
Yeah. I was like, so what I love that book so much. I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to talk about a chapter every day. Because there's like whatever how many chapters are in there. I'm gonna go on YouTube Live and just give my thoughts on that. And I would always be so nervous, and I'm like reading it. I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna read it because I don't want to be, try to be all professional.
Right.
But at one of my some guy who lives in Tucson, he drove up to Phoenix to the Ezria monthly meeting, and he's patted me on the back. He's like, Mike, that Jack Canfield episode number blah blah blah, he goes, it changed my life.
Amazing.
I'm like, oh, the one that I was embarrassed about, the one that I felt stupid talking about when I was reading and stuttering from.
That changed somebody's life. Yep. You stuck your neck out, made yourself uncomfortable, put yourself out there, and you changed somebody's life.
So you're probably listening to this like, oh, I don't want to start the podcast, I don't want to go for that job, I don't want to ask that person to help. Like that's one of my tips, I think, in the forum was like, shoot your shot. Like, I think that's the only thing that's separates me from or that I could say stands out from 20 years of entrepreneurship is I just went for it.
Right.
Because I was like, we're thinking dropping out of school. I always thought to be a politician, you got to go to Ivy League school. That's my assumption, right? You got to go to college. You got to be a lawyer. Right. You got to be articulate. You got to debate. And I never paid attention to any of that.
Yeah, who cares?
And I said, hey, I want to do this one day. And everyone's like, okay, we'll help you. And I was like,
awesome.
Oh, okay.
Who knew?
I guess I'm doing it.
I think that happens a lot too, where other people are inspired by the fact that you want to go out there and do it, but they have those fears and those holdbacks. And so when you go, all right, I'll do it. And then there's so many people that want to support you and help you. And
well, that's the biggest thing is everyone else wants to do it, but they don't. Fear of public speaking.
Right.
If you went to a party when I was younger or you saw me, I was just leaning against the wall, right? Just like,
I don't want anybody to look at me.
No, yeah, don't. But now speaking in front of 200 people, whatever it is, still practicing, but I'm willing to do it. Every meeting we have, I'm still nervous.
Right.
Right. And it's like, but I'm the one willing to do it.
Well, and that's what I think the definition of bravery is, right? It's not a lack of fear. It's that you do things despite fear.
I like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're not feel free from being terrified.
Yeah.
Do it anyway.
Yeah. Shoot your shot.
Shoot your shot.
That would be a point. Number
Needs to be
one.
a T-shirt.
Shoot your shot. Yeah.
Shoot
Right.
your shot.
I probably heard it somewhere.
So if you're trying to inspire and lead and teach our viewers of this podcast, what kind of pointers and tips can you give people that are looking at this and hearing your story and your journey and saying, man, I relate to that prior version of you. How do I get to be this current version of you?
Yeah, outside. So shoot your shot was number one, I would say. So if I was to say another one, it's always back to the other quote: "The harder I work, the luckier I get." Consistent.
I love that quote.
Yeah, you just gotta always be in it. You gotta constantly, like my son. So and he does the DoorDash, right, to make some money. So I'm like, okay, and he's stop and go. Uber's better. DoorDash. He's like all these excuses. 1 week he's doing it, 1 week's not. All this stuff, and then no, you got to get it going, right? Put the foot down. Tell him to go. Now he's doing it every single day. And he found this little thing where he goes out from midnight to 3 a.m. in Paradise Valley.
Oh, really?
And he hits his goal like in 3 hours versus
He was
working.
sleeping in Paradise Valley between.
No, they'd probably get home from the bar.
Really?
Right,
From Paradise Valley, go out to the bar.
I don't
thought
know.
everybody in PV was
Scottsdale.
old.
Whoever it is that he's delivering
just
to,
me.
he's hitting his goal faster. But you only find those things out when you're just like
Out there.
curious and you're in it and you're just failing and failing, throwing spaghetti against the wall. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I got
That
something.
worked. Something
Yeah, it
worked.
works.
Something, and that's like your prior story about catching up with your buddy who became a mentor and got you started on your path. You're right. If you wouldn't have been out there, if you weren't out there swinging and meeting people and scaring yourself by trying things that you weren't necessarily good at yet, those opportunities wouldn't have come up.
Yep. Totally
I think
true.
another one could certainly be reading, right? Obviously, not only do mentors have to be real people that you actually talk to, mentors can be authors.
Oh, so check this out. So Think and Grow Rich, you have imaginary, like Abe Lincoln, all these things, right? Like, yeah, I've done that. I have fake, because you read their books, you get so in depth or ingrained into their books and everything they wrote, and you could kind of start understanding how they think, right?
Right.
Now you got ChatGPT, you just put the book in there and it'll tell you.
Yeah.
Wow,
Now you just ask ChatGPT what to think about it.
Yeah, man, it's amazing. But yeah, I would say I could keep talking about this, but yeah, adapting. You're always having to evolve and change. It's never going to be the same thing, always working.
What do you feel? Because I feel like the thing that holds most people back is fear. Fear of failure, fear of embarrassing myself, fear of not having enough, analysis paralysis. I don't have enough knowledge yet. It's always fear is fear of something is what holds people back. And, it was probably an early sign that you're braver than most just by the fact you dropped out of high school. Most people are probably just hated it and wish they could, but you obviously are willing to take that leap more than most people. But if somebody's a little bit more timid and concerned about their safety net.
I'm going to touch it on two ways. I'm not a psychologist in any way, but I've heard there's only two fears we're born with. And one was, I think it was fear of falling and loud noises.
Okay.
Maybe. Don't quote me on it.
I think
right?
babies are definitely
If
startled
you put a
easily.
baby on your hand and you go backwards, they go,
Yeah,
how do
yeah,
they know
yeah.
they're falling.
Right.
Right. So, but forget that. So everything else is created or in our environment, learned. And another gentleman he taught me was fear. It's always going to be there. There's nothing you could possibly do to get rid of it. It's there. So just do the opposite. If I'm quoting him right, it was like, and that's kind of what, looking back, hey, I don't want to speak in front of anyone, but just do it, right?
Right.
Warren Buffett, there's fair in the streets, be greedy. If everyone's greedy, be fearful, do the opposite. So the opposite is kind of like what always works.
So you could almost use your fear to guide you when something's scary. Then you go,
yeah, you gotta, because your brain also it's protecting you,
right.
right? It's like it's that's new. We don't know anything about this new podcast room. You got to sit down and, I was like, my butt cracks, let me show. And, I was like, oh no. So it's like, yeah, do the opposite.
All right. I love it. Do the opposite.
That's it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's been such a pleasure to have you.
Cool. Thank you for having me.
And I'm coming back to Azria. I haven't
Yeah.
been there in years, and you're making me really miss it. So
Yeah,
you're going to
come
see
on
me at
by.
the next one. I'll be there.
Let's do it.